Okay, we have our next presentation beginning with social services, and we will start out with Renee Pratt and then go into the other areas included in this presentation, and I'll let you all introduce yourselves as you start your presentation.
Great. Thank you, Vice Chair Gamble. We really appreciate the opportunity to be here. I have to my left our CFO, Andrew Sullivan, and I have to our right the newly selected Executive Director for the Office of Homeless Services. So I'll present and then I'll turn it over to her. Thank you. If you would indulge me, I'd like to acknowledge my staff in the back of the room for being with us today. They do such a fabulous job. I have to acknowledge them not only for their hard work over this past year, but for the past 3 years during COVID and operating the COVID shelter. We just officially shut that shelter down earlier this month. So during that sheltering process and during our cold weather and overflow sheltering process, our staff saved 6 lives from overdoses just this past year. So I think that's important to highlight and acknowledge and just say thank you for all your hard work that you do. The core strength of Metro Social Services is to respond to crisis in our community, whether at community-wide levels or an individual level, and proactively prepare for the needs of our most vulnerable citizens here in Nashville. The services required to meet the needs of this growing population are becoming more complex and more intensive than the social service systems that have been designed and built previously. Whereas clients in the past have traditionally needed 1 or 2 services that required a finite level of service from a social worker, the level of services new clients requires necessitates a higher level of specialized services, particularly in the area of housing and mental health, where work with a social worker can be protracted. Recent research suggests that the complex web of social safety net programs in our community have become more complicated than it requires, and it requires assistance to help residents navigate the convoluted resources that exist in our community. Additionally, navigating these resources for residents require more time, first to identify potential solutions, and then to ensure a connection between those resources and the resident. This additional time reduces the capacity of the department, and more capacity through specialists and increased social workers will allow for more successful exits by clients. Last year, I reported that the Federal Reserve Bank showed that almost 40% of American adults would not be able to cover our $400 unanticipated emergency, be it cash, savings, or credit card charges that they could quickly pay off. This continues to be the case today. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the Davidson County population of people 65 years or older was estimated to be 92,758 in 2021, an increase of almost 27,000 since 2011. A third of this population also has 1 or more disabilities. This significant increase is happening while Nashville is in the midst of uncontrolled growth that dismembered many neighbors and displaced residents, including the elderly and people with disabilities. This displacement is pushing the elderly to move further from major healthcare facilities, creating additional challenges to commuting and accessibility, and we continue to see demand and growth in many programs we administer for the elderly. It has been determined and found with the analytical data from my Strategic Planning and Research Division within social services that the needs of the city are ever increasing for social services. Furthermore, it is increasingly evident that there is a greater impact and benefit for customers when they are being assisted and served by professionals who specialize in an area of focus that addresses the customer's needs. With the more intentionality and attention being paid to a definitive group or population, the service professional not only works in the area of interest, but they also utilize and grow in knowledge within that area. By doing so, the professional has a greater sense of task identity, proficiency, and significance. Data shows that having staff with specialized areas of interest where they work creates a greater quality of work and efficient service for the customer. With increased evictions, skyrocketing mental health concerns, lack of adequate paying jobs, larger numbers of people being reintegrated back into society from incarceration, depleted funds within community programs, and overall increase in social service needs, it is not only needed, but could be detrimental to not have the staff who excel in specialized areas of work. The Human Resources Division of Metro Social Services found through an internal audit and our current retention and recruitment practices that specialization among services will result in an improved recruitment effort and less turnover. The positions asked for will allow for staffing levels to be fully specialized and will reduce turnover and open vacancies. We also truly appreciate the $200,000 recommended appropriation for our indigent burial program. That is a historic recommendation, and we truly appreciate this for the recommendation. Historically, we go over in indigent burial every year, and I have to absorb that cost within my budget. So again, thank you so much for that suggested and recommended appropriation. Last year, you graciously funded a total of 60 new positions for social services in the Homeless Impact Division. At the time of the hearing, I indicated that I would have a better idea of our needs post-COVID. Now I have a better idea. The demands in services are based on the data, the trends, and the gaps in services that we are experiencing. And it's important we pay attention to those gaps. So with that, I will turn it over at this time to April Calvin to present the new budget for the new department of the Department of Homeless Services. So thank you. And I'll take questions at the end. Thank you.
Hello there. Thank you all so much, and I want to thank you all for the opportunity to be able to discuss our budgetary needs. Within the past year, it's been a pleasure working alongside of each and every one of you all, addressing and designing creative solutions for our unhoused Nashville neighbors. I would also like to thank the entire Metro Homeless Impact Division team, their supporting role and supporting services to our overall community has really meant a lot to those that are experiencing life without a home. Working in partnership with Metro Social Services, our community partners, to address the needs of our most vulnerable Nashville neighbors is extremely hard work, and I spell that with a H-E-A-R-T, right, because it pulls at your heartstrings. I celebrate that Metro Council voted for Metro Homeless Impact Division to be its own department in 2022. Creating an Office of Homeless Services allows an undivided focus on the unhoused population by creating a unified leadership structure, aligning Metro's response and strategy, and assigning authority, responsibility, and accountability. And as the convening and planning agency of homeless efforts, we take pride in hosting the overall community database, which is embarking on compiling data even from our largest shelter provider, which will be a historic event for us here in Nashville. We also provide this would also provide a comprehensive deep dive into aggregated data and compelling anecdotal stories that provide insight into our homeless crisis. The Office of Homeless Services also leads the coordinated entry and access to the available resources and services in Nashville for the most vulnerable population. We have a robust landlord engagement department that is on record of increasing the available housing stock, that's willing to reduce barriers and offer affordable housing units to our most vulnerable neighbors, giving them an equitable platform to be able to rent alongside of our housed neighbors. Last year, You all approved an increase in the outreach department, allowing for a more efficient, coordinated effort around our unsheltered population. And numerous studies have shown that unsheltered population has a decreased life expectancy rate. Individuals here in Nashville have a decreased quality of life of 15 to 20 years less than their housed counterparts. The national or the average for Nashville, the life expectancy is 54. That's the age that our unhoused sheltered people are dying while living unhoused. Also, I'm pleased to share with you that the approved $50 million is definitely helping to provide some creative interim gap housing options for people that would otherwise not have a place to stay while waiting to access permanent housing. In the past 18 months, we've conducted 3 housing surges, successfully housing over 200 unsheltered Nashvillians. In prior years, our community housed our chronic, unhoused Nashville neighbors at a rate of 16 per month, and we're on average on a record of housing 32 people that are experiencing chronic level homelessness per month. Annually, our community we've housed or rehoused over 1,700 people per year, and that's an annual average for us. I think partnering with community providers, we're committed to identifying solutions to decrease inflow, and that's inflow into homelessness, and to maximize outflow into permanent housing. The request that we've put together will, for increasing our annual budget, will align community strategies, systems mapping, and gaps analysis. Will also create a collective impact for families, individuals, veterans, and youth. Locally, we receive an unprecedented amount of federal funds compared to other cities. With proper execution and departmental support, we are arranging for a greater impact and increased federal award. Metro and local service providers cannot resolve this alone. Increased connection with the state, federal, faith-based, and philanthropic communities is vital. A couple of wins for us within the last 18 months, we've experienced becoming a housing first community, increased dedicated funding, interim gap housing to offer relief to our overall system, increased metro coordination and response, a closer connection with MDHA and the Office of Planning as we look to fish more upstream for housing options. Also creating a new office and acquiring a new director. This proposed budget will allow for the opportunity to create new positions to address vital administrative functions such as HR and other financial needs, and by adding an additional five positions. It will also allow for a systematic planning and gaps analysis of our overall continuum of care, and it will grant funding to supplement partnering agencies with rental needs and case management needs, enhancing the support for the overall community. Once again, I would like to thank you all for the opportunity, for the encouragement, all of the kind words that I've received from you all, and also always operating in the spirit of positive motivation. Thank you.
Thank you. Are we ready for questions?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Questions. Council member, let's see, where are you? You're at Council member Druffel.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Congratulations, April. Well deserved. Just a couple of questions really on long term. I appreciate what you're doing and your success. As you look at the $50 million, I know this is looking farther out. Have you thought of sort of the succession or the platform to move into replacing that and some of the gaps you might have, or in the next year or two, maybe give us a forecast on what impact on future budgets you may have?
Yes, initially starting with a sustainability plan for each individual agency that received the portions of the 50 million, asking them what's their sustainability plan, making sure that they're putting systems in place so that in the upcoming years they'll be able to sustain that. Also in this year's budget, there is some funding to help with ongoing case management and also some rental or immediate urgent needs that we'll use to kind of layer some of the funding that's in the community. And I would say within the next 12 to 18 months, we'll have a better handle on what that need would look like. So also another huge thing I think I spoke to it as well was partnering with faith-based community. I watched a webinar yesterday from HUD and other faith-based initiatives saying that it's a moral responsibility of the faith-based community to help in situations of unhoused individuals. So connecting with them and then also the philanthropic community, I think it's severely underutilized here in Nashville.
Thanks. I just want to make sure there's, with the success we're having, that it's a sustainable success over the next 2 or 3 years. Thanks, Director, and appreciate that. I just want to make sure we don't take sight off that 50 million and that we are layering in the next couple of years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Benedict.
Thank you, Chair. Congratulations, Ms. Pratt, Director Pratt, and Ms. Calvin on the creation of OHS, and congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you.
I have a few questions. Actually, one question. I'm looking at the lease reduction expense of $20,000. Not a significant amount of money in the overall budget, but page 351, it shows it's transfer lease obligation to administrative account due to relocation. But I wanted to understand, City Road Chapel is in District 7 and one of those faith-based organizations that does some phenomenal work. I'm in very close contact with Jay Voorhees, who runs that and has, done a superb job as one of those partners in the community, helping our unhoused community. I actually spent some time in the pit this weekend in Madison and got to know some of my constituents in the area that are unhoused. And as a result of that, learned a little bit more about the space at City Road Chapel. We're renting that currently, and so I'm curious, how does this $20,000 lease reduction, which is a move to the administrative account, but it says that it's for due to relocation. I want to understand how much notice we can give Jay if we're going to open up that space.
Yes.
As well as what type of financial impact that's going to have for him.
Yes.
Because I know he has many more capabilities that he can do there for us.
Yes.
Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yes, he is aware that we are looking at the possibility of relocating our staff to come with Metro Social, with the MHEAD staff that is currently with us, to come with Metro Social Services. We have to vacate our location. So we've been in the process of looking for accommodations for MHEAD previously to no avail. So we are now going to relocate MHEAD with Metro Social Services initially. And when they become their own department, they will have their own division, direct door, department, everything. They'll just be in the same building with us. We wanted to ensure they have space. They've really outgrown the city road space. And we really want to make sure that we're focused on the community and bringing everyone in. And it's somewhat hard for people to get out to Madison, our other customers and other constituents as well. And Madison has a large homeless population, and we want to ensure that we continue the continuity of providing the service we provided in Madison. So that will not stop. That will continue. We work closely with Jay Voorhees and many in the community to ensure that we have a solid foundation of providing the services through funding and then also through partnerships and collaborations.
And so this $20,000 reduction, is that directly relative to
the rent we pay at City Road Chapel?
That's only City Road.
That's only City Road.
Okay, so he should expect that reduction in the upcoming 12 months budget.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
We are anticipating a move probably by the end of this year.
Okay. And then are we looking at working with him to reuse that space through OHS for other needs, or is that going to be something that they just decide as a congregation? Or a little bit of both?
I would say a little bit of both. We're working with a couple of agencies that's already expressed interest in wanting to utilize our office space. 2 agencies to be exact, and I defer them back to Jay Voorhees. I'm not the landlord, but there's other agencies that's looking to utilize that space. And then also in a conversation yesterday with one of the agencies, he's already exploring even other options for gym space and emergency sheltering if needed.
Thank you. And I know he does great work there on the with the program that we have. And so I would love to see I think we talked yesterday at committee or after committee about it, 300 to 500 unhoused in the community in Madison alone. So I want to make sure that we're utilizing the space that's available to us for Madisonians to find housing in Madison, and making sure that we're not, that I think it's a good model to have regional spots, just my opinion, outside looking in as you work on what you're setting up, and you probably already know this. But I do want to make sure that we're using that space as much as possible for the people who are in that location, in that area of town, who need those services. So just making sure that we're strategically looking at that, and I'm sure that you are. Just want to call that to the forefront.
We are, and we're aware of those services that are provided in Madison, and they're vital, and we want to continue that. As I stated, we want to continue the continuity and ensure that the people in Madison that are unhoused, and that is a large number, 500, but they're used to the services being in Madison and provided in Madison, and the continuity needs to continue for those people as well. So that will continue for us.
One last question. Do we know the timing of when, so you said by the end of the year, how much notice are we going to be able to give the church in order to allow them to find another tenant, re-rent that space without much revenue loss for them? And that's all I've got, and thank you all.
It's contingent on when it's approved. It has to go through several reviews, and through the review process that the space is approved and we have the space to move in. Once that's approved, then we will give notice and let them know that we will be vacating and when we will be vacating.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the council? I do have a question. I noticed in your questionnaire, you mentioned that you requested 26 positions and received 8. Can you talk about what those 8 positions are, what adjustments you had to make to accommodate that reduction from your request, and how would it impact services?
Thank you for that question. We really appreciate it. As I stated, we've done a lot of work around the needs of social services and exactly what we want to focus on as we move forward in providing social services. So we've done analysis. We provided data to you all as well. And we determined that at this point, we really want to focus on our efforts. I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought. I would like to focus our efforts on, I'm sorry, will you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
What are those 8 positions that you
want to focus? Thank you. We want to focus our efforts, as I stated, on specialization. After doing an audit and determining that that's the best way for us to go, that will help with retention and recruitment as well. The 8 is a start, and I truly appreciate the recommendation. But again, it's a start. I would hope once we determine if this is the best way to go with specialization, that we can increase those numbers next year, and we have better data to bring you and support that effort. So that is my hope. But 8 is a start, and I appreciate the 8. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Councilmember Nash.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. This may be a question for the administration as much as associates. I know we're in the midst of building, and I've asked this question before, but I've forgotten the answer. We're building down the street here a home for, is it 60?
90.
90. And with some wraparound services. When does that come online, do we think?
I would say in conversations with Angie Hubbard from planning, we could probably get a better date and time. She's going to present to the Homeless Planning Council in the next upcoming months. I think initially it was late winter. If we're on task and on target, it should be late winter, and then or early spring. And then also, I think she's working closely with MDHA. They've taken over the management of that property.
I just pulled up a general services report that I have that says February 2024 is the forecasted ribbon cutting. So I think that's on the same time frame that you spoke to, April. I believe there's some work underway that particularly Ms. Hubbard from the Housing Division is leading on helping us get the right property manager. We wanted that expertise in place.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Joffo.
Yeah, Director Pratt, the 8 positions, what you're talking about special intervention, is that mental health, or can you
Definitely.
elaborate on
Yes.
those a little bit more?
Yes, what we found is, as I stated in my opening, that at one point, people would come to us with 1 or 2 issues. And given COVID, isolation, health, pre-recession possibly, people are coming to us with more and more needs. And what we found is it's quite overwhelming for a new worker to come in and have someone sit before them with 10 needs, and the worker saying, how do I address all these needs? Where do I start? What's most important? If we had specialization, the worker can focus on 1 or 2 particular areas of need, and then it would be a collective effort around that person to address all those needs that they have. So if it's housing, someone can work with them on housing. Once they establish that and we put together a service plan, then we move on to the next worker to see what they need. It might be employment. So that worker specializes in employment. That worker works with that customer and helps them become employed. We want to address all the needs, not just one. Generally, when someone comes to us and says, I just need a food box, that's all I need, generally there are other reasons why they need that food box. And we want to get to those reasons. And through specialization, we think we can help more people and identify more need, and hopefully help them to become self-sufficient and not need us anymore. That's what we want. We don't want that customer to come back the next year with the same need. So that's why we're focusing on areas of specialization.
Just a follow-up question, if you don't mind, Director. What kind of caseload can one person handle? Is it vary based on your specialization?
No. At this point, it's varied based on the need.
Okay.
And our case loads far exceed the numbers that should be assigned to case workers.
Yeah, and that's what I want to get to is if you need a number, and these are potentially unhoused eventually, it might be a more proactive intervention. I don't know if I got here a little late. You might have spoke to that, but I'm just thinking we might be missing the boat. Picking it up with April while you're trying to stop the bleeding a little bit.
Exactly. That's what we want to do, and we'll continue this effort as I stated earlier, as a partnership, because that's
Sure.
what the intent is. That's why the Homeless Impact Division is within Metro Social Services.
Okay.
So,
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And April, if you could follow up with that on the 5 new positions, or I guess they're new, 5 positions that you will have in the Office of Homeless Services, what those positions are and how it would impact services.
Thank you for that. Definitely, we would need all of the administrative functions of a full office. So one position would be the Assistant Director of Administration, which is like a CFO, the Administrative Manager, which is like our Human Resource Officer, warming shelter. We're going to work this warming shelter together as a joint collective with Metro Social Services, and then also that position would assist with drafting and designing needs for people throughout the community depending on the climate. So it would be something much more like an emergency service manager. And then the other position would help with features and functions as it relates to our continuum of care. And we have over 14 committees. You understand that? That's a part of our continuum of care, and that position would help with that as well.
Great.
And then, one more position, which is the Office of Planning. And that position is designed to help with strategic planning, community competitive grant writing, and seeking other additional funds.
What's the total positions that you have in that office?
Then we would have 32.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions, comments? We have 1 minute to spare. All right, thank you. Oh, wait, we got a question. Councilmember Toombs.
So for the Office of Homeless Services, these additional FTEs, does that fully staff the new office, the new department?
Yes, that would fully staff our new department.
Great. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your presentation, and thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.